Hey, hey, movie maniacs. My name is Sky, and I'm joined by my brother, Dusty. Dust, when was the last time you saw Starship Troopers, and was it as good as you remember it?
The first time, or wait, the last time or the first time?
The last time.
The last time I saw it was probably back in I would say maybe 2000 ish, because I came out in 1997, right? I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I watched it maybe a few years after that, maybe 2001 ish. But so
You
the
have a good
very
memory. 19 years ago. No, not 20. It was 19 years ago.
I'm guesstimating, guesstimating is an actual word. I'm
Mhm.
guesstimating that because I watched it more than once, because I know it came out in 1997. We wouldn't watch it because looked awesome
Wait a
and mom
second.
loved it.
You graduated in college in 2001, and you watched this on your graduation night, right?
How did you
That's how
weren't
you
there?
remember.
Oh,
Yep.
so yeah, I remember watching it in 1997 when it first came out. That was phenomenal when it came out. And then I know I watched it a few times after that, but I have not watched it at least for 10, maybe 15 years. So maybe 2005 or 4,
Mm.
3, something around there is probably the last time I saw it. So how about you? When was the last time that you watched it?
Probably like 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere,
I
you
own it
thought, you
on
know what, it'd be good?
DVD. What? Yeah. Oh, I knew it would be good. I loved it every single time I've watched it since 1997. And I saw it in theaters, of course. I think I went with Denise, I think, when I went to see it in 1997. And then I've been in love with it ever since. I can't get enough of this movie. I'll tell you right now, it's an A plus. One of the best sci-fi action movies ever.
Goodness, A plus. So
Yes.
it,
So much
I think
fun to watch.
I think I know what made that movie over the top. It was the flip six cornhole. That was that play. That was that was it,
Yeah,
right?
flip 6-3 hole cornhole play for sure. That's what did it, and we got to see it twice in the movie. If they only did it once, it wouldn't have been as good of a movie. But twice, yep, for sure. I'm
Yeah.
a,
So
I'm, I had. Oh, go ahead.
I was thinking, because I remember when I first watched it, I played football growing up, and so there was a couple things like that's kind of hokey, but oh well, it's the future. Maybe it's what, 50 years from the future. It's probably true. They probably have this special ability. But anyway, so watching that football back in 1997, being a football player, I was like, oh, this is kind of hokey, but oh well. And then watching it again now that I'm older, watching it again, where you have the chick who's the quarterback literally runs over like 3 guys to throw the ball. I'm like, that does not even happen. Like the pro quarterbacks cannot do that. If they get hit by one person, they're grabbed and taken down. So honestly, I would have to say that took my pegs down right now since I just watched it. It took it down a couple notches, not just the football. For some reason, the rest of the movie, I was kind of like watching it with like a little more of a critical eye. So you give it an A plus. I'm actually giving it. I didn't think I would, because if I were to watch it all brand new right now without ever seeing it before, I would give it a B minus. Enjoyable, really, really fun. Now, back when it first came out in 1997, definitely an A. I would absolutely give it an A. But now watching it again, it was a little corny a couple times, but really, really good sci-fi movie. Really enjoyable, really fun. But it's amazing to see the technology in having this sci-fi type of movie back in 1997. It is not like as comparable as today, because today is just totally different. Like with Endgame, it just looks phenomenal. Like the entire fight scene between Iron Man and Thanos is literally CG. Super. I mean, it looks real. But what's really amazing is back then they had this technology, not had this technology, but they were utilizing technology to make it look like they're on another planet. These bugs are coming at them. Really, really good. So, but I give it a B minus just because there's some hokey things in it, but enjoyable story. I love the arcs in the stories, the growth in the characters, and it literally, because it's over a long period of time, unless you're a bad writer, they're going to have to grow. Like going from, somebody who's not even in the military, a civilian, to actually being a captain of a ship. Is really, really neat to see. It's a good story too.
Yeah. Oh, I agree 100% with you. And you had mentioned, the technology, the sci-fi, the CG graphics, I mean to say. There was a lot of that, and I thought it looked great. It's still, everything holds up to me. The bugs look great. I love it. But there was a lot of practical effects. You see a ton of body parts, splashed blood everywhere. The practical stuff really endears this movie to me, and I just love practical effects in general in movies, right? I like seeing, even if I know that's a puppet, getting its head sucked out of or head blown up and stuff, I still enjoy seeing it, and that makes movies more fun for me. Like, this movie achieves all that it wanted to. Like, it wanted to deliver a lot of action, sci-fi, crazy killer, disgusting, scary bugs, and a ton of blood and gore. It delivered that on all fronts, and I just find it completely enjoyable because of it. Like, it's always good when a movie delivers on what it intends to do. Like, it didn't try to be the new Star Wars or like a serious take on sci-fi. No, these were teenagers turning into their 20s, soldiers killing bugs. I mean, soldiers killing bugs right there. It delivered on that for sure.
Frankly, I find a thinking bug offensive.
That guy was so, every time I see him, he cracks me up. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a really good job. And I do like how two different scenes, at least as far as I recall, two different scenes, either somebody is getting their head blown up by a bullet by one of their, inside the boot camp, the one dude gets his head blown up or blown off. And then you have the head getting sucked out a couple times, getting to see that. It's like, oh, wow, that is, they did a good job. And I like that practical effects that they do. Really, really makes it look so much better than if it was just all CG.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Although the one almost all CG scene that I really liked, and it was my favorite scene of the movie, when Casper Van Dien jumped up on top of the tanker bug, which that was practical, right? Seeing the hole in that tanker bug and all the orange blood pop up, threw the grenade and blew it up. That was my favorite scene of the movie. It was a lot of CG, seeing it blow up, but leading up to that, he was actually on some kind of gimbal or something, moving around, making it look like a bronking bug, and I thoroughly enjoyed. That's my favorite out of the whole movie, that scene.
Did you watch any outtakes? I never got or I don't remember getting the DVD and watching outtakes. Did you, or like special features and stuff like that?
I've watched them before because there are some on the DVD, but this time I just watched the movie. So I don't remember the outtakes of, although I do recall them showing, I guess anytime you try to sell a movie, not anytime, but oftentimes you have to make some kind of a real example, like this is what it's going to be, to show the studio execs to greenlight the movie. And they showed that, and that was pretty interesting from what I remember. There's also some outtakes, extra scenes between Denise Richards and Casper Van Dien, but I can't really remember them too well.
Got it. I thought I would see Casper Van Dien in a lot more movies after this. Now I got to ask you, did you go watch Starship Troopers 2, 3, 4, or however many other Starship? Did you watch those other ones or just the first one?
Yes, I've seen them, and they are not worth watching at all. This is the only one worth spending your time on.
So I went and watched, I think YouTube has a couple. I just typed in Starship Troopers 2, Starship Troopers 3, and I was looking, and they had a couple scenes of them. They look so bad compared to the first one. It's like they went from an A movie down to a Z movie, not even a B.
Yeah.
It was that bad. I was so surprised. And so Casper Van Dien wasn't in the second one, but he was in the third one, which was rather weird.
Oh, was he? I don't even remember that. It was so long ago. I saw them probably when they first, and my guess is they were straight to DVD at the time. So I probably rented them from Blockbuster or something. I remember seeing them, but don't remember anything about them. But did you ever watch the computer animated Roughnecks series?
No, was it good?
That was really good. Yeah, really fun to watch. I think they only had one season, then it went off the air, but it was really cool. It wasn't bloody and gory. It was made for not really kids, not like Smurfs type age, more like kids that would, 12, 13-year-old kids is what it was made for. But that was really good. If anybody watching this love that and want more and don't want to watch parts 2 and 3, which were terrible, try the Roughneck series.
Got it. What is it? Is it Carrie Russell? Is that her name? One of the actresses?
No, Dina Meyer.
Dina Meyer.
Talking about Dizzy?
Yeah, Dizzy. Got it. So which one, I think I could know which one you would pick. Dina Meyer or Denise Richards?
Kind of like a Ginger and Marianne question?
Yeah.
It would be Dizzy for sure.
Really? That's okay. That's totally, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Well, the other one seems to, I don't know, you would have more fun with Dizzy. She would be like, he treated her like she was just a friend. whereas Denise Richards' character was like the girlfriend, the girl you want to be with. But I would say for the same reason, I go with Marianne versus Ginger on Gilligan's Island as well. What about you?
I would say that too. I'd say Dizzy just seems like a more fun person to be around. It's just I don't want to be around people that just make me feel like not feel like I'm down. Just I like people that are enjoyable, that are fun, that enjoy having a good time, not just being. I don't know. Yeah, between the two, definitely Dizzy would be a better person to go and hang out with, or even just do be around.
Yep.
I do like how there were so many different. Not just actors, but like not necessarily characters, because you don't learn a ton about every single characters, but there's a lot of different characters throughout the movie. They come into a little bit and they come out, like the guy that gets shot in the head, the lady that gets washed out, like they come in really quickly, but then they come right back out. So there's a lot of moving characters throughout the entire movie. And did you see it coming where you have Racek? He actually being the lieutenant. Did you see that coming when you were watching the movie the first time?
No, I didn't see that. I didn't think he would come back into play, but it was really awesome seeing that. And every time I see him on the screen, Michael Ironside's the actor's name. Always like him. I always enjoy seeing him. And so I'm happy every time I see him come back in, walking in, you see his fingers and, his robotic fingers flex right there as he walks and gives his speech. Always enjoy seeing him.
I agree. And he did a great job in this. I like, it reminds me of Ironhide. You remember who Ironhide was?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Transformers.
Yeah, I was like Ironside, Ironhide. Those are cool names. Yeah, so he was really, really fun. I do like how the movie had ebb and flow in the action to slow down and actually tell more story. Action, then tell more story. They did a really good job in the ebb and flow of the story, like telling the story of going into like playing football and being a part of school, and then going into boot camp, and then going on your first mission, and then they just kept on like up and down, up and down. I enjoy movies like that have transitions that move a character through. Now, I don't dislike 24-hour movies like that, literally set in like a 24-hour period. I don't dislike those. For some reason, though, I just really like somewhere there's a new destination. Like we have to get somewhere. We get there. Oh, it feels good. Now we have to slow down. Now we have to get someplace else. I guess I'm a destination person. So if we ever, because my wife and I and our 4 kids, we love to travel. For everybody watching this, we love to travel, and I'm a destination person. So if I'm going from Phoenix, Arizona, where I live, to New York, I'm not going to drive there. I want to get there as fast as possible. I don't care what I'm missing on the way. I want to get there. That's because I have to get there. So if my wife says we're driving from Phoenix all the way to New York, I'm like, okay, clock me or time me. I'll get there. Like, we're not stopping other than go to the bathroom when we're driving. That's how I am. So my wife has had to learn that when we're going anywhere on long trips, we need small destinations. So if we're going from Phoenix all the way to New York, she says, okay, even though we're going to New York, your destination right now is Albuquerque, New Mexico. Ready, go. I'm like, yay, and then I can do it. And then once I get there, I'm like, okay, now I can relax. I don't have that New York in my mind. And I think that's also goes with this type of story arc. What do you think?
I'm down with it. And I do like you said, the ebb and flow. I like how the movie starts off with action and 1 year in the future too. I like when movies do that. Take a look at the past, look at the future, look at the past. Starts with the future, and then you see them. The bug action starts right away. You see the cameraman or the reporter get ripped in half. I mean, it starts right away. Within the first 3 minutes, you know what you're going to get from this movie, right? They're going to keep delivering that kind of action. And then we go back into the past, and like you said, high and then a low while we see him in high school, football, and then go back down again, boot camp, just like you said. And I really do enjoy movies that do have those ebbs and flows. You're not just high and then low, high at the end or whatever, right? The ebbs and flows are good for most storytelling does that. And I really enjoy that.
Did you notice any crappy Star Wars type of thing where there's gravity in space or something? Remember the one of the Star Wars most recently, I can't remember, like Jedi or Skywalker or something like that. They literally had bombs and they released them, and it was like, because they're in space, they're acting like it's gravity, so they drop like there's gravity pulling them down. Did you notice anything like that stupid in this movie?
Well, every scene there was no anti-gravity at any time. There was no lack of gravity, but I didn't ever notice it. It didn't stand out to me. Like when they were on the ship, they're not floating around. Everyone seems to be walking and standing, like they've developed anti-gravity technology on these ships.
Star Trek really did a good job of doing that.
Yeah, for sure. And I've never, it never even occurred to me with this movie or with Star Trek. I just never even think of it. I just accept that they're able to walk around on ships,
Yeah, absolutely. We have been so accustomed that if you're in space, you're on a ship, you absolutely have gravity. And you know what? We watched in the past, we've watched Rocket Man. Remember Rocket Man, the hilarious movie? I just love that movie. I watched it again recently, like literally last weekend with the kids. Kids like, let's watch a movie. I'm like, we haven't watched Rocket Man in forever. I laughed so much throughout that movie. It is
funny.
And one part where,
but he's walking around the whole time, right?
Well, Randall, he takes off his seat as soon as they go into space. He takes off his harness and he's floating around and he's making so many wisecracks and like just corny jokes. And then the captain or the main guy, I can't remember his name, the awesome actor. He goes, "All right, engaging artificial gravity in 3, 2, 1," and boom, he lands on the ground. But you don't have. As far as I'm aware, we don't know of any way how to do artificial gravity. That's just funny. That's definitely a movie trick.
It is, for sure. Now, there is a series of movies, and it's a series of books called The Expanse. And not series of movies, series of television shows on Amazon Prime. It's a series. And the way they do it, let's say this was your spaceship, right? In the movie, they have spaceships like this. They look like a building. They have floors, where people are walking and working on the floors. Well, it travels through space like this. So the propulsion is here. As there's propulsion, the fact that it's speeding up gives you some kind of gravity this way. So the floors are this way. You can imagine like you're in an office building, turn on its side, fly through space. You have some kind of simulated gravity, whether it's like in the book, it might be 1/4 or 1/3 of the G's of Earth. But as long as you're traveling forward, you still feel that slight bit of pressure on your feet. So you're basically in a building going through space with a tiny bit of gravity, not full on 100% 1G gravity.
So I don't know how accurate that is. Last time I was in space last week, I didn't notice that when we were going fast. So I'm just kidding. So that does make sense only if there is some sort of gravity in general, like, G-force is gravity force on you. But that could be a potential way to actually do it. Who knows? That might be absolutely right. I like that idea. That's pretty neat.
Yep. So I thought that was pretty cool in that series. Let's see here. Oh, what is your... I mentioned my favorite scene, blowing up the tanker bug. What's your favorite scene in the movie?
I would say I love how I think it's when you have Rico taking over the Roughnecks. Rico taking over the Roughnecks and actually leading them in. For some reason, it's him saying what Racek would say. I only have two rules. Nobody quits. And what was the other one? Shoot. Nobody quits.
Nobody quits. Everyone fights.
Everyone fights. No one quits. If you don't, I'll kill you myself. And it's just seeing that arc of him taking the place of Racek, where he was his teacher, and then now he's his lieutenant. Then works his way up and eventually becomes the lieutenant himself. I was like, that's actually pretty cool. So I think that I really like that transition and then them going into the city. But if I were to, that was one like tiny little part that I really liked. But the whole scene that I always remember is when they're holed up inside of the bug city and they go into that one place and they have the loads and loads of bugs going at them. And they're inside that one compound and they're having to try to fend off and they're shooting them and they're trying to protect themselves on the inside. You have Denise Richards coming down to save them. Then you have the guy, the big bug breaking through, and then Dizzy sadly getting killed. All that's combined. That's probably my favorite scene.
I got you. I really enjoyed that one too. And then seeing Michael Ironside, we're about to die, guys, but so what? Give them all you got. I really like that. And then, like you said, Dizzy threw the grenade. She blew up that tanker bug all on her own. Enjoyed that scene, too. And we also learned that there are brain bugs now, or potential brain bugs are sucking out the bugs, getting knowledge from your brain,
Yeah, that's offensive. So we learned a little. That's offensive.
Yeah.
For everybody watching this on YouTube. So remember, watchandlearnpodcast.com/YouTube. You can go watch these videos. So Sky and I love making faces and doing things on this. And Sky was literally holding up a pack of some box of something when he was doing this. But so one thing that got me, I want to quickly go right back to the Ginger and Marianne, or like Dizzy versus what's her name? it seemed like his girlfriend. What's Denise Richards?
What is her name? Denise Richards was Carmen.
Carmen. Oh, easy. Yeah,
Carmen Ibanez.
You should have remembered that. So
I should have. Yeah.
Yeah. So Carmen and Dizzy, like Carmen is so self-centered. That's why I literally didn't like. I just feel like I'm getting punched in the face every single time she talks. It's like self-centered, me, me, me. Whereas Dizzy's like, obviously she really liked Rico, but just everybody in general, she seemed like didn't seem like a self-centered person. It really rubs me wrong when people are like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I guess that's the same reason for me. I got that same feeling, although I didn't voice it earlier. So that's a good call on your part. Let me see here. Clancy Brown was in this. Do you know who Clancy Brown is by name, the actor?
No, I don't. Remind me.
He was their drill instructor. Yes. Clancy Brown, big guy. Yeah, exactly. You've seen him before in Highlander. He was the Highlander's foe in that one. But then he's a famous voice of a famous cartoon character. Do you know who that is?
Shoot, no, I don't.
Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob.
Oh,
Clancy Brown is Mr. Krabs.
That all the time. No, honestly, literally, I've never seen SpongeBob, so I have no.
You haven't?
No, literally, never seen it.
Terrible, man. I mean, why don't you? Oh, your kids don't want to watch it? My boys loved growing up with SpongeBob.
I have no doubt that they would watch it. We just never had a chance or channel or whatever to watch it, so we just never watched it.
Yeah. And I liked him as the drill instructor. Sergeant Zim was his name. Really good character, really hard ass. And he leads into my first lesson, which I'll get to in a second. But I really like the fact that when they were going to war at Klendathu, he said, I want to go to war. And he said, you're not going to go to war unless you bust yourself down to private. Well, he did exactly that because he wanted to defend the human race. And then he went and captured the brain bug. I love how, he was there at boot camp and then back at the end of the movie, helping to save the day.
Yeah, that was really, really fun. And what's really interesting is I didn't understand that. How did one guy capture the brain bug? I don't very well. He could have done that, but the brain bug's literally surrounded by lots of people. It would have taken lots and lots of people to help him to actually capture the brain bug and all the people that died. So, that's neither here nor there. I really thought that it was really great seeing Dizzy throw the football or the grenade like it's a football and it blowing up. They just all the actors and actresses inside of here. I don't remember anyone being like, "Oh, that's a hokey," or "That's a hokey actor," or "They didn't do a good job." I thought all of the acting throughout the whole thing. Although honestly, Casper Van Diem at a couple times was like, "That's not the best acting," but we're not here for phenomenal Shakespearean acting and stuff like that. But It was really enjoyable. What was your prop that you really liked?
Oh, I would take Johnny Rico's just full soldier uniform with the helmet and with his rifle. I mean, that would be the quintessential thing. I would put in a glass lucite case or whatever right here next to me, always staring at me, Johnny Rico's uniform.
Johnny Rico's uniform. That's a good one. I was thinking of a couple of the firearms because if you guys remember, so we did Extraction. Our last episode was Extraction. I pulled up my Tavor. It's a rifle. It almost looks like a futuristic gun. And that futuristic gun, it looks like one of the ones that you would have in the Starship Troopers. It just looks different than you would normally find most guns looking like. I was trying to think of those guns, but they were a little bulky. And then I was running through maybe the football because that was kind of fun that they were throwing that around, but that wasn't very much. The only thing I could think of, it was the dead guy's head with his brain sucked out. That would be fun. Just have his head. I'm just kidding. That would be horrible. That would literally scare everybody.
It would. Yeah.
I really liked, I think it would be cool, and it kind of be a little Terminator-esque, but Rotchek's hand, not like literally his attachment, his appendage.
Yeah.
That might be pretty cool.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Or one of the dissected bugs from their high school science class.
Yes, there you go.
All
the goop and everything coming out.
Yep. And so I said I would get to my first lesson, right? One of the coolest things in that first training scene, not really a montage, but seeing them go through the different things when they were throwing knives. And then Jake Busey, who we haven't mentioned, Jake Busey, he's great. I love seeing Jake Busey. I would like to see him in more movies and TV shows and stuff. He still acts. I just don't see him that often. But I like how he questioned, who needs a knife in a bug fight, sir? Put your hand up on that wall. Boom, he did that. And so my idea there, the lesson I learned was never question your superior superior officer. They have reasons for what they're doing. Let somebody else, let Johnny right over there question him and let him get his hand stuck with the knife, And just the fact that he broke the one dude's arm, stuck him with the knife, call out medic like it's no big deal, medic, and they come over here and fix him. I love that aspect of the movie.
Absolutely. And then like almost choking Dizzy out, making like she passes out. Like that's fun. I loved it sticking in there. Everything about that was really, really enjoyable. So my first lesson is fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And the reason why I say that, the very, very first time they go to the planet that, they did a foreshadowing. They showed it very beginning, get out of here, run. And it's like, you're getting taken out. Well, we fast forward and we now see that what actually happens, they have all these ships that fly in all together and they go and drop off these planes that drop off the infantry. Well, they're literally clumped together. They're right next to each other, not spread out. They're literally right next to each other. And then all of a sudden, a couple, spurts of this, plasma type stuff is flying in the air. And then like they're all around them. Things are getting destroyed. Big ships are getting destroyed from this plasma. Then one of them takes off and they eventually, make it out. They do the exact same stupid thing the same second time is that they pull up with every single ship so close together. And okay, everybody just shoot us now. I thought that was the dumbest thing. Like, why would you have them so close together so that they literally cannot move away? They literally, one gets blown up and it hits into the other. I thought that was really bad. So you need to learn from your mistakes. Like that was totally not learning from your mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you there. And they show the planes coming in, strafing the planet, dropping napalm or whatever on bugs. You would figure those plasma bugs are so freaking huge, you'd be able to scan the surface, find them, take those out before you start bringing troops down. So you're right about that. Kind of bad military planning, just bad military planning on their part. I like that. That's a really good lesson there. My second lesson is it's not why you are there that matters. It's what you do when you get there. So Rico, he went there because of a girl, right? He wanted to be with Carmen, joined because of that. He also had aspirations of being a citizen, and he was inspired by Ratchet and that kind of stuff. But then he started to drop out. But like Jake Busey told him, you became squad leader on your own. You made all these successes on your own. Forget about her. Like, you are here, and this is your purpose. This is your calling now. You're good at this. Stay here and continue on, So I think that's the thing. It's not why you got there. It's what you do when you get there.
That's a great point. And I would add up to that as well, to add on to it, is we never quit. No matter how hard it gets, no matter if we don't like it, if we make a commitment to it, and that's something I'm teaching my kids now, is we never quit. If we do something, we do it always. And, our stepdad, he would always tell us, if you're going to do it right the first time. I love that. I've taken that with me. I never really understood that growing up, but it was shortly after, teenage, little in college, I just realized it's not worth doing it twice. Like, you're going to have to do it twice. You're going to do it once poorly, get in trouble or whatever it might be, and then you have to do it all over again. Just do it right the first time. So that's not one of my lessons, but that actually very well could be. You do everything right the first time. But my lesson is we never quit. We never quit, and we keep moving forward. Now, here's the funny thing, Scott, you would appreciate this. So for everybody listening to this, I also have a podcast called Master Passive Income, and another podcast. I have a few podcasts, another podcast called Successfully Unemployed. And in each one of those, I talk about quitting your job. Like, your job is you're just over broke. Your job is your just over broke job because your boss is only paying you just enough to keep you working, but not too much. It takes money out of their pocket. So I'm always talking about quitting your job. Well, literally last night, Sky, I was talking to my kids, and I was talking to my daughter, Faith. I said, because she had a little art project. It was hard. It takes a long time, a lot of little beads, and it was really tedious. I wouldn't do it. I just know that. She's doing it, and I told her, you cannot quit. You have to finish it. We never quit. You never quit anything once you get started. And she looks at me. She goes, Dad, then why did you quit your job? I was like, oh, oh, touche. Yep. You can quit now.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So and then literally like 5 seconds later, she goes, Dad, I just asked you, why did you quit your job? She knew it was funny. And it was hilarious. Yeah. I was like, my jaw was on the ground. I was like, yeah, she's wicked smart.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. But that is a very good lesson. Never quit. We never quit. And then let me see. My last lesson, and this came from Commander Ratchek, right? Talking to Casper Van Dien or to Johnny Rico, is never pass up on a good thing. And truly, like, Dizzy's a great gal. She's really smart, very attractive. Why would you turn her down? And so I thought that was a good lesson, valuable lesson for all of us.
Yeah, going along with that, I'm going to say we overlook the things that are right in front of our faces. If something's right there, even if we've overlooked it so many times in the past, we need to reconsider things that are right in front of us. I know, like my wife, she would tell me something and say, we should do something like this, or in business, maybe do this. And she'd tell me like 2 years prior. And then eventually I come around, you know what? I should do this. And she goes, I told you that 2 years ago. I'm like, well, it's never too late to change. It would have been great if I did it 2 years ago, but I'm always open, or at least I tried it as best I can, try to be open to new things. Maybe at the time when I dismissed it the first, it wasn't the right time. It could have been.
Yep.
It could have been the right time. But as long as I'm open to make a change, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, totally. Sometimes, somebody approaches you with a great idea and you just don't see the magic. You don't see how feasible, how useful, how great that would be until, like you said, a year or two passes and then it comes back around. Now this is the right time for it.
Yeah. And on top of that, well, I'll give you an example. The brand Successfully Unemployed, we created up that 5 years or so ago. I wrote a book on it, teaching people how to actually quit their job the right way. All the lessons that I learned through it. And Melissa kept telling me, hey, you should make a shirt that says Successfully Unemployed, because that's it grabs people's brains. Like, what? You're unemployed and you're happy about that? Why? It's contrary. And so I put it off for 2 years. And then eventually I made a shirt because she kept encouraging me to do it. I eventually made a shirt. And then I was walking down the halls of a conference. This is a financial bloggers conference, people that talk about finance and things like that, called FinCon. And I was walking down the halls wearing that shirt. I literally could not go down the halls of that conference without somebody stopping me, taking selfies with me, taking pictures of me, or saying, I love your shirt. Because it's not that they loved me. They loved the idea of Successfully Unemployed in themselves. Like, that's what they want. And so the reason why I'm telling you this story is because at first, I didn't understand that this could actually be something that people would grab onto. And then just taking that little bit of advice, go ahead. Okay, I'll go ahead and make a shirt. That's a great idea. It produces or shows off the brand master passive income. But people loved it so much, I thought, you know what? Now it's time I could spin and create another business called Successfully Unemployed. Now, also, I have the passion now for it. Back then, 2 years ago, when she told me, I probably didn't have the passion for it. Now I literally have the passion for it, and I can do it. So as long as we're open. See, I'm not a fan of change in general. Like, let's just change for the sake of change. I hate that. I love getting more efficient, getting better. I love changing to get better. I love changing something because this is a better way to do it. I thrive on finding new, better ways to do it, not just for the sake of change. So, I guess I'm rambling all about this to say that you need to be open and ready for things to help you to change to get better.
Yep. Keep those eyes open. Keep those eyes open so that those new ideas can find a purchase and potentially make things better for you. You're right about that. Let me see here. Did we get to your third lesson?
So I think that was my
never. Okay.
Yeah. That was my third lesson. Be open for change. Be open for things to redirect you into something that's better and more efficient, or just better in general.
Yeah. Good. Let me see here. One of the things too, it could have been a lesson is, Ratchek said, Johnny Rico in class asked him, what should I do? And he goes, Johnny, the only true freedom that any of us have is the ability to make up our own mind on things. And I thought that was a great lesson too. Too many people, they don't know what to do. So they seek advice, and whatever advice they're given, bam, they take it. You've got to maybe weigh your different options and put some thought into it yourself before you make that decision, right? And just because somebody says something is the thing that they should do, they don't necessarily know what's going on. They don't know all the details about it. You know everything in your mind. You know where your heart is, and you've got to make up your decision on your own. So I guess that's kind of like a fourth bonus lesson. That's a great lesson. And that's honestly the only freedom that we could ever do. On top of, I would tag with that, making a decision is definitely a freedom. A freedom that we have is our attitude that we put behind that decision. We can always come with a bad attitude and make things worse, or make us not enjoy it.
we can also come with a good attitude. We can choose to have a good attitude in whatever situation that we're in, so that we then look at this differently and react differently and be different going through this. So hopefully make it better for everybody.
Totally. I agree with you there. Your attitude and your actions are the only two things you have control of in this life. Let me see here. Oh, my Monday morning quarterback is that, okay, this is the one thing. I still love the movie, right? But this is one of the things that kind of bugs me. Denise Richards gets a gigantic spike through her shoulder, and by the end of the movie, she's like putting her arms around Johnny Rico and Carl and talking, and she has no pain whatsoever. So that brain bug should have sucked out her brain, because she has some kind of ability to just ignore pain, ignore the greatest pain in the world. He should have tagged her first, sucked out her brain to learn that, to give that to all of his troops, and then sucked out the other guy's brain, because, man, she's got a crazy ability to ignore pain.
So I think it's a great insight. I thought the same thing too, because they're all hurt, but they're all, cheering. I was looking at, who's her boyfriend, the pilot, whatever that guy's name is.
I can't remember, but
yeah. So he gave her the knife, but I was thinking, why didn't he just keep the knife? But then again, he didn't know who they would go after first. She was closer, so he kind of thought that. So my first thought was, you just literally keep the knife and go. But yeah, I get that. So that's the only lesson that I had. Only Monday morning quarterback, other than in thinking about, you should from the very beginning not throw infantry at, like, this is probably the biggest Monday morning quarterback. You said it earlier. They had the fleet go and bomb everything. Like, literally, like, these are bugs. Just carpet bomb, just literally destroy them with the bombs, and then the infantry go on and mop it up. Why would you lead with infantry? I just don't understand that. Maybe they did. At least it doesn't look like they did.
If they did on that first planet.
Well, no, they didn't, and the reason why is because that the Sky Marshal stepped down. Remember, because it was bad. So
they made a huge tactical error.
Yeah, like, let's just go. We can literally kill all these. No, anyways. So what I'm thinking is, you should know your enemy before you actually do anything like that. So that was huge. Like, you literally destroy them as best you can before you send infantry and actual people in there to die.
Yep, for sure. One of the last things, I really enjoyed all those little commercial interstitials throughout the movie, at the beginning, middle, and at the end. I just, those are always fun to me, those little scenes right there.
Now, I also noticed that it had, and we never saw this back in 1997 when it came out, where in the commercial, it was, would you like to know more? And you click on it. Like, that was so before its time. I was like, looking back now, I'm watching like, wow, they actually saw that coming. That is so cool.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's how everything is now. Clickbait everywhere to click for more info. Now they're not asking you, would you like to know more? They give you a title that makes you want to learn more. So we've taken it a step beyond that, but you're right about, this was ahead of its game ahead of its time for sure.
Yes. And also having a big rock thrown from a bug planet, being able to hit Earth. I think that's eventually going to happen. That's ahead of its game. They're prophetic in that.
Yep. Oh, for sure. They are. Let's hope it doesn't happen. At least not in our lifetimes or our kids' lifetimes, right?
Yeah.
One last thing though. Paul Verhoeven directed this. He also directed RoboCop. And the same guy who did the music, Basil Polidoris, he did the music for RoboCop and this movie. And there are so many similarities in the music and the feel of those two movies. I just saw a lot of RoboCop as I was watching this.
Which reminds me, I think RoboCop is a good movie we should probably do sometime in the future. Yeah. That's one I haven't watched in a long time. I hope it's going to be as good as I remember it. I don't know. What do you think?
I hope so. I think it will be. The first RoboCop. The second one might not hold up, although when we were kids, I enjoyed RoboCop 2, but I doubt it holds up like one would.
Well, same thing with like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was great. I went and watched because I thought maybe let's do The Bogus Journey as well. I went and watched it again. I remember loving it when I was younger, just watching it over and over again. I watched it again. I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. It's okay, but it just wasn't as good as I remember it.
I gotcha. Station only lasts for so long, huh?
Station!
Yep. Cool beans. So before we end this puppy dust, any last words?
No, I think I'm good to go.
Sweet. Okay, so I gave this an A+. You said B+, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool beans. So the last thing. So I chose this movie for this week. What are we going to learn from next week, Dust?
Bloodsport. No, Bloodshot. Blood clot?
Bloodshot. Yep.
Bloodshot.
Bloodshot. Now, we had discussed this off the air beforehand, but this is available to purchase right now for $15 on Amazon. But on May 5th, it's going to be like a $3.99 or $4.99 rental. So I think that'll be a perfect time to rent it, watch it, and then discuss it on the podcast.
So I wonder if Vin Diesel is actually like is he actually as tough as he seems? Or like, I remember, I don't know if it was a publicity stunt type of thing, but like with the Fast and Furious, you have The Rock calling Vin Diesel a candy ass. Like, oh, he didn't specifically name Vin Diesel, but you could tell like it was really going after him. Like, is Vin Diesel like literally that like wimpy? I don't know. It's coming from Pitch Black. I remember that movie was so much fun watching Pitch Black. If you guys don't remember that, that's Vin Diesel on a bug planet as well. Really, really fun. But yeah, so with this one, I'm looking forward to seeing him and seeing how he does. You know, like Chronicles of Riddick, which was after Pitch Black. I watched it. It was okay. I mean, I think it was more, the story is a little more hokey than Pitch Black. But I'm looking forward to at least seeing, hopefully he's going to do well. What do you think? Do you think it's going to be a good movie, or do you think it's going to be average, or what?
I don't know if it'll be a good movie, but just like the Triple X franchise, Pitch Black franchise, like you said, the Chronicles of Riddick, Fast and Furious, I think he does plenty of action movies really well. So I think it's going to be a fun action movie. But who knows what the story's going to end up being, if that'll be enjoyable, if the characters will be enjoyable. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to some action and some potential sci-fi stuff. From what I know of the Bloodshot comic books, there's some sci-fi elements to it as well. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cool, dude. Yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
Blood clot.
All righty. So everybody, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate your ears. If you're watching us on YouTube, we appreciate those eyeballs. You heard everything that we thought about Starship Troopers. We want to know your thoughts, especially any life lessons that you took away. So go to watchandlearnpodcast.com/Starship Troopers to leave a comment at the bottom of the page. All righty. Once again, my name was Sky.
And I'm Dusty.
And we will return next week with
Bloodspore, blood clot, no, bloodshot.